So, you've read correctly. I just had an orgasm after 100 days of abstinence and celibacy. And it isn't like it was day 99 or day 102. No, it was on day 100. And it's very weird because I wasn't even counting days. And I was planning on making this video tomorrow on my birthday. Because 6 months ago, I have a whiteboard, and I wrote on my whiteboard, I want to do 100 days of pure celibacy. And I even remember specifically asking God if he could give me this birthday present of 100 days of celibacy. And I just relapsed, and I count back the days. I remember this is where I started, and it is exactly 100 days. And I was laying in bed just now and I was asking, why? Why? I was gonna make the video on my birthday, exactly on the days I planned 6 months ago and I asked you for. Why now? And he told me, because you were relying on yourself too much. And so I come to you defeated. And maybe this helps in how I make this video. I'm not sure. I don't believe in accidents. I believe everything happens for a reason. And, I made this whole list with everything that I've noticed on this journey. And I want to read these things to you and I want to talk about them because even though I feel defeated right now, I feel humbled. Maybe that is very good for this video. And I want to first of all give you a little bit of a backstory on who I am and how long I've been trying this. I've been hardcore trying to progress and succeed on semen retention or celibacy for more than 2 years by now. There were times in the beginning I would think about it every single day, because I grew up like you probably in a system where masturbation and pornography, it's just normal. And I was addicted from a young age, 11, 12 years old. That's when I started doing it. And I had some successes, I even remember I have a video on my channel, day 1 semen retention. It's 1.5 years old, where I'm talking about how I just failed again and I've been trying for 6 months and the best I did was 21 days. I have relapsed yesterday. I've been trying semen retention for 6 months now. The best I was able to do was 21 days. I have an incredibly high sex drive, but that's not an excuse. I just thought I would be able to kick this habit earlier. I stopped smoking weed. That was nothing compared to stopping PMO. I stopped smoking cigarettes or nicotine. That was nothing. I stopped using social media a long time ago. That was nothing. I deleted the dating apps months and months ago. That was nothing. But it's like PMO is like, man, fuck, that shit is so hard to quit. I've made a lot of progress, even now I haven't looked at porn or anything. I don't really look at porn anymore at all. And I had some successes, for some of you maybe know my other videos where I went to 60 days, etc. And it's really, I've really been trying for the last 2 years of my life to really get this under control, because I'm on a journey to God, and I quit the social media, and I had a severe gaming addiction, and I stopped smoking weed, I stopped smoking cigarettes. I've become a new person. I've been reborn, and this was sort of the last straw. And if you're anything like me, it is incredibly hard, especially as a man. Even though I come to you defeated and humiliated, I probably went longer than 99.9% of men could in today's society, which in some sense I can still be proud of myself, but that's what I just learned. It isn't me. But I remember I was praying and I was so fed up a little more than 100 days ago. I was speaking to this girl. She was a nice girl. She was a Christian girl as well. And we were talking about God. And I noticed how my flesh would creep in and it would corrupt our conversations. And she would respond to that. And I hated it so much. And it was once again where it's just like, I hated how, like, we didn't talk about anything sexual at all whatsoever, but it was still something. And I hated it so much. And I once again, I spoke to God and I was like, God, like, what else do you want me to do? I have tried and tried and tried. I have fasted. I have done this. I have done that. What do you want me to do? How can I succeed on this journey? How can I be victorious and live as a celibate? That's really what I want. I don't want to masturbate. I don't want to look at pornography. I don't want to fornicate anymore. I believe you and I love you, Christ. I want to follow you. How much longer do I have to suffer? Because I can't do it no matter how much I try. And I was so desperate. And I said, God, I'm going to fast. And what I did was I sat down and I said, God, I have a few questions for you. I'm not sure how my future is going to look like. I'm not sure, should I take this job? Should I not take this job? And I started to fast because I wanted an answer. And I usually dry fast. I've water fasted before. To me, a dry fast is a whole nother level where you have no food, no water. And so I started to fast. And every hour, every other hour, I would go outside and sit in the sun and I would talk to him. I would talk through everything. I would ask and I would pay attention. I would be quiet. I would listen to the conscience. I would listen to the voice. And he would tell me that you don't need to take that job. I want you to focus on this YouTube channel. And I know to a lot of you this might sound weird because I have like 800 subs and I'm a nobody, but I really feel like I have something to give. And it really is the last thing that I'm really here to do on earth. Like, I don't have friends. All I want to do is preach Christ, stand up to tyranny, expose the evil in the world, and then die. Like, I would love to have a virtuous death. And I was just asking God what it is that he wants me to do. And he said, you don't need to take that job, but I want you to work on your YouTube channel. I want you to actually put in more work. And you don't need to work in the sense of fasting. I'd rather have you suffering so that you can help other people. And I got that message like, 12 hours in already. You know, in my first few prayer sessions, I already got that answer. And I was like, but I have one more thing. I want to rid myself and free myself from this addiction. I'm lost. I've tried and tried and tried for years. I keep falling back into it. And I know I've tried more than anybody else out there. Every single day of my life, I would think about it. I want to fix it. I tried everything. I'm so lost. I'm going to dry fast now. And I want to just suffer for you so you hear my pain, so you hear how much I truly want this. And I sat down and I shaved my head, shaved my whole entire head. And I was like, I don't care how I look, because I noticed I was like looking in the mirror, like, oh, how does my hair look? Am I handsome? I was like, this effeminate behavior. I shaved my head. I was like, God, please take this as an offering. See my suffering. And I stopped eating and I stopped drinking. And I went 24 hours, in the evening. I was very hungry. Very thirsty. When you dry fast, the hunger disappears. You just get super thirsty. And I kept praying, over and over. Every hour, second hour, I would sit outside. I would go into the sun. I would pray. I would speak it all out. I would cry on my knees on the floor and ask and beg, because I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to be ruled by my lower nature. And day two started to come, and it started to get hard. Like afternoon, day two, I vividly remember your mind becomes very clear. You become super receptive to God's voice. And I would still continue to pray every hour, every other hour, and speaking to him and asking him, and it got more and more difficult. Like I was thirsty, and I managed to go to sleep at the second day. Obviously, I couldn't sleep very well because I just can't, when I'm fasting, have a very light sleep. And I'm already in sort of a psychedelic state, you could almost call it, but not. It's very clear. It's very simple. It's your mind becomes clear. You become very receptive, and then I went to bed and I woke up on day 3, and then I'm like over 48 hours without any water or food, and according to Google, you die after 3 days or 72 hours of no water. I continued, and I managed to go to 72 hours. So 3 days, no food, no water, and I shaved my head and I was praying every hour, every other hour, and I vividly remember, I was suffering. Like those last 6 hours, I kid you not, sometimes I would look at the time and it's like 3 minutes have passed. And I'm like, there is no way I'm gonna, like, I remember brushing my teeth and feeling the water in my mouth and it being like, oh my, and I would look at the watch and 3 minutes have passed and it's like, there's no way I'm gonna get 6 hours. No way. But I can do 5 more minutes. And I kept doing that. I can do 5 more minutes. I can do 5 more minutes. And I managed to get to 72 hours eventually. And then I drank a lot of fruit juice. But I had a revelation, a very big revelation, and something that's going to be incredibly useful if you're on that journey. And the revelation was that I was possessed. I was already making YouTube videos, and I already knew I was called by God to somehow or another help a few elect people out there. But I was possessed. I had a demon within me. And I didn't realize it. For almost 2 years, I was fighting a losing battle because I was possessed. I had a demonic possession that changed the way I see the world on a very fundamental way. But it was all that I ever knew. So I never knew there was another way of being or existing as a man. And for me personally, there's this scripture. It is Exodus chapter 20, verse 5. You shall not bow down to them or worship them, for I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, punishing the children for the sin of the parents to the 3rd and 4th generation of those who hate me. Now, my sexual urges started to activate when I was 5 to 6 years old. I vividly remember I was a 6-year-old boy, and I wanted to talk this 4 or 5-year-old into having sex with me. But I was too scared because I thought the adults are going to punish me. But now if you look at a 6-year-old, you would never ever be mad at him because you wouldn't even think he has any idea of what he's doing. But I already had that. I already had that full awareness, that full awakening to my sexual nature and that deep desire. And I was scheming on how I can have intercourse with her behind the slide where nobody sees it. And it didn't end up happening. But by the time I was 9 or 10 years old, I have slept with... I have a higher body. The average body count is 4.4. By the time I was 9 years old, I had more than double of that. And it was because I was possessed. Since birth, I've had this. And if I look at my father, he has 4 kids with 4 women. He abandoned all his kids. He wasn't there for his children. And he left them. And I inherited that spirit from him through the flesh. That's why I had these urges and desires since I was a very young boy. A lot of you, even though you might not be that extreme as I am, if you start to watch pornography from a young age, 11, 12, 13, you subject yourself to these pictures and you interact with that demon which comes to you through the screen, that mental image which attaches to you. That spirit will come upon you and it will cloud the whole way you see humanity, you see women, you experience your daily life. And if there's any women listening, you won't understand this, but I think a lot of you can resonate. For the longest time, I kept telling myself, oh, I'm just a guy, I'm just, I'm young, or oh, I just have high testosterone, or this is just what men are like. And I never knew that I was possessed. I remember
I was battling. Like, let me tell you, I was fighting this so much, so much. I would be in my room and I would be 4 or 5 hours on end. I would be thinking about sex and women. I couldn't stop. I would be in my room. I would do bicep curls until I couldn't anymore and pace back and forth because I can't even focus on anything. It's just all that's there in my mind. And a woman would walk by on the street, or I would hear a laughter of a girl or something, and I'd be like, automatically, I would go, look, is she attractive? How does she look? And it would, for hours on end, and I was battling and battling and battling. And I fell for 2 years. I tried and I kept falling, and I never realized I had a demon. You cannot overcome your demon. You can't, no matter how hard you try. And so if this is you, if you have been trying and trying and trying and trying, and you keep falling, this is the way out. Because I learned this now. I want to read you a scripture here. In Matthew chapter 17, verse 21, it's talking about a spirit or a demon. And this is also a verse, this exact verse, Matthew chapter 17, verse 21, which is not in a lot of modern Bibles. It just simply isn't there. There's like a small footnote, but that verse is taken out. And it says, however, this kind does not go out except by prayer and fasting. Meaning there are certain spirits, they will not leave you. No matter how much you pray, no matter how much you try, you have to fast and you have to pray. And now think about it. What is probably one of the strongest demons there is? The very demon which attacks you at your core, your desire for procreation, your desire to make life. This is the second highest biological instinct after survival, procreation. So that demon is strong. And it is the strongest one. This is also why men are the leaders, because men have higher temptation, higher responsibility. We bear a curse. The woman doesn't really bear that much. And it says this demon doesn't come out unless you fast and you pray. And I have fasted before, but I would watch YouTube videos. I would distract myself. I wouldn't humble myself and truly show my willingness and, shave my head and just pray. Because it wasn't like, I'm doing this so I get this. No, I'm calling him because I'm so lost. I want to give my suffering as an offering to him so that he may see me. Because I want to quit it, and I'm trying and I felt like I wanted to feel a lot of pain so he sees how bad I want this, how bad I want to stop being that kind of person. And I just wanted him to notice me. I wanted him to finally help me. And I vividly remember I was fasting, and I was fasting and I was watching these sermons by Derek Prince, and he would talk about how you need to rebuke these demons, you need to speak it out. And I was always under the impression that this is carnality, this is Christians who don't understand how this stuff works. So I rebuke you in the name of Christ. Like that's not how it works. But I was on day 2 of my fast, and I sat there and I was like, I went through the sermon with him, and for 30 to 45 minutes, I audibly rebuked every single demon that can exist. And I went through this whole list with him, and I said, I rebuke you in the name of Christ. You have to obey because Christ is the Son of God, and I command you to leave this vessel, you spirit of lust, you spirit of fornication, you spirit of pride, you spirit of sloth, etc. I went through it 30 to 45 minutes, and I always thought that was nonsense, and I didn't believe in it. But I kept doing it. And whenever I would have a thought, the Bible says, hold your thoughts captive. Whenever I would have a thought that is impure, that I don't like, I'll be like, I rebuke you. I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. And I know it's like you see these church-going people and they're, I rebuke you in the name of the Lord. And like, what's speaking going to do? Isn't God already controls everything? Like, but I don't know. I kept rebuking them in the name of Christ. And I kept telling them, leave by the power of Jesus. And after 3 days, when the fast was finished, it was like a new world opened up for me. I can't explain it because this is something that has been plaguing me and affecting my relationships with people, and especially women, since I was such a young child. I don't even know it any different. I don't even know what it's like to talk with a woman and not have these thoughts. I've tasted it, in some of my older videos. I've talked about this a lot, and because I have tasted it, but I never was truly free. And after I finished my fast, the days passed. I had no urges, no desires, no thoughts. And I was like, okay, what's going on? It's been like 3 days. Because I had relapsed before the fast, and I had gotten accustomed to knowing, if I release, the day 3 is dangerous, day 7 is dangerous, and I'm going to want to do it again. But it's just an addiction and the demon. And, I finished the fast and the days passed. I was like, okay, day 3, day 4, why am I not having urges? Why am I not bombarded with thoughts? Like, right now, okay, it's like day 7, it should be coming right now, but it didn't, and the days kept passing. It's like, day 7, day 10, I would be like, oh wow, 2 weeks have passed. Where are the desires? Where's my addiction? And I was like, oh, maybe my hormones have crashed, or I don't know what happened. And then at like day 21, I had this thought, and I Googled something, and I immediately closed it. I looked at it for 1 second. Just type in Google, you click images on, I closed it 1 second. And then I told myself, if you ever do this again, we're going to take a cold shower. And I immediately went to the bathroom. I put it all the way to cold, and I stood underneath it, and I was, you like jump and you go in a circle because you can't handle it. I was like, every time you Google this, we're going to take a cold shower, and we're just going to suffer. We're just going to endure and have a little bit more pain, because I don't want to do that anymore. It's like burning it out of me or freezing it out of me. I don't know. And then the days kept passing, day 30, day 40, day 50. I had like one more thought, and I would be like, well, you want to take a cold shower? Go ahead. No, I don't want to take a cold shower. That was horrible. So no, I won't do it. And day 60, day 70, day 80, it was gone. And I had never known that. I never knew you could just be existing, chilling, not around women, and then just doing your own thing. You don't have to think about women all the time. And yes, I've tasted it, but that was something different. It was just gone. All these years I kept telling myself, it's because you got high testosterone, it's this is just what males are, but it was something totally different. And I want to tell you a little bit about that journey, about all the things that I've learned, because I had a lot of insights, One thing I realized is that your seed, your life source, is truly the elixir of life. And this is why this is so important. As a man, you need to retain your seed. You cannot, as long as you are under the spirit of lust, you cannot come after your purpose. I don't care who you are. You have a God-given purpose. And for as long as you are in chains of your lust, God cannot put you where He wants to put you. You need to overcome that. But here's the thing I just learned. It is not us. It is not us which overcome it. It is Him. We have to surrender and realize we can't do it. Because it's like, I humbled myself. I prayed and I asked and I asked and I said, please, just for my birthday, 100 days of semen retention, please. And now what happens? Tomorrow it is my birthday, and I just calculated and I failed exactly on day 100. A day before I was going to make that video. And I knew it had to happen for a reason, because this just humbled me. This humiliated me. I'm ashamed. But this helps me speak it in the way that's going to help a few of you. And I noticed over my journey that in the beginning, this energy, it starts to make you prideful. It starts to make you aggressive and dominant. And yes, this is part of it. If you're completely effeminized, you're going to lack aggression or dominance or the capability of being dangerous. But over time, this starts to transform into gentleness, peace, and a genuine love for people. And a hunger. That's the main part. You want that hunger. Hunger is what causes the inferior lion to kill the leader of the pack, even though he's inferior, because he has the hunger. And the thing is, you need to channel your hunger. So the default, at least for me, the default was women. You know, I want to fornicate. I want to sleep with women. I've slept with more than 30 women by now. I'm as deep into the degeneracy as you could be. And I kept fueling myself, and I kept increasing that hunger. And that hunger turned to me being productive. These last 100 days were probably the most productive days I've ever had in my life. And I would, in my free time, I would work hours on end, you know, making videos, making PowerPoints, making my series, you know, which some of you have watched. I'm very grateful. And, you know, the best part is still to come out. And I would go to the gym every day, you know. I had to change my training split because I was just like, I gotta go, you know. And then my tendons gave out because I was overtraining, and I had to like take a break, etc. So I had to like adjust my training schedule, but I was so super productive, and I stopped caring about women, like entirely. And that was so, yeah, that's so enlightening. And that's also something I knew that happens once you start to cross over to the other side. You stop being so obsessed with women, and honestly, they stop being attractive. Many of them, many women, most women nowadays, they're actually really ugly spiritually. They're dark, they're low vibe. They just want to consume and get stuff from you. And I started to see that. I started to see her. You have a beautiful shell, but it's so dark. I don't like it. But I would look at a woman who is not super conventionally attractive, but she has that brightness to her. You know, that you can't see it, but it's there. You can recognize, you can feel it. And in general, the subtle energies that move us, the subtle energies that make us, you pick up on these, and you start to, you know, because there's an animal inside all of us. You start to speak the subconscious language people pick up on. You know, most of your actions, most of the things you do, they're subconscious. So you can't mask it. The deeper parts within a human always recognizes. But as you start to retain your subconscious actions and behavior, they start to embody purpose, meaning, and confidence. And this starts to subconsciously spill into everything that you do, into your energy, into your conversations with people. Just you walking down the street, it's going to be a totally different experience. People are going to be reacting totally different to you. And that's one thing that happens. And I also had female attraction. Obviously, this is the one that most are like, oh, you know, how about the female attraction? You know, people will watch YouTube videos on female attraction. I'll talk about female attraction in a bit, because I had female attraction, and I've had abnormal levels of female attraction in my first few streaks, where I had women staring me down, where I had women who, pretty young girls, who would they would look into my eyes and they would zone out. And I would look back at her and she would be like zoned out and staring into my soul for 20 seconds. And then she would snap out of it. Because she, I don't know, she probably hasn't felt something like that before. Or I would be at a gas station and a woman would be with her boyfriend and she would turn around and she would stare me down for 5 seconds. And then she would go with her elbow in his rib cage so he hurries up so I can pay sooner. And then she smiles at me and looks back while she's holding his hand and walks out. And looking back, I realized that was demons. That was her demon, which was attracted to my demon. That is not a normal thing. That is not because you're retaining so much masculine energy and life source and dominance. Women can't help but be drawn. No. A lot of these encounters, looking back, I now realize they were demonic. That was the devil playing with me. That was the devil trying to make me feel all good. Because what happened? I went home and I released. Because I felt too good about myself. It's like, oh, so much energy. Look what happens. Oh, no man can handle this. I gotta release. A lot of these things, the really crazy stories, because they're real. A lot of people, they're not lying when they talk about female attraction. But a lot of it is not just natural female attraction. A lot of it is literally the devil sending you agents. And a lot of you might think, ooh, that's kind of cool. Or it's like in the back of your head, like, oh, am I going to get female attraction? Are women going to be attracted to me? The only reason you care about this is because you're still a slave. Here's what you need to understand. It's better to be free than to fulfill your desire. Just when you're free, you don't care. And it's not like, Oh, I pretend to not care, so she thinks I don't care, so then maybe she starts to give me some attention because she's like, oh, why doesn't he care? And I keep checking if maybe she notices that I pretend to not. No, you just stop giving a fuck. Imagine you just didn't give a shit. Imagine you just didn't give a shit about women or sex all the time. Imagine how you could just do your thing and not give a fuck. It's so much better, and I've tasted that, and I'm gonna go right back. Like, this is a one and done. I think this happened to make this video. I don't know why I released. I don't know. And here's also the thing. Satan, he comes when you're about to leave the cell, and it is better to be free than to fulfill your desires. And a lot of you, you're watching these and that's what most of the content is, because whatever is mainstream gets just degenerated into lower levels. It's like, oh, the female attraction, this and that is gonna happen, and you guys watch these YouTube videos. I mean, I don't know about you, but a lot of you watch these YouTube videos, and it's like, ooh, is the female attraction, blah, blah. Why do you even think about that? Because you're still a slave, right? And so as long as you have that mindset, you're going about it the wrong way. What's going to happen if you actually get on longer streaks is you actually stop caring about it. And so the very way or the very reason you want to do it is the opposite or the wrong reason of why you should do it. For a lot of men, this is why I'm glad I've woken up to this truth, this reality, this sacred and ancient knowledge of celibacy at a young age, is that a lot of men, this is what happens today. Their desires, they blind them. So they'll meet a girl on Tinder and she's kind of pretty, and you sleep with her and you feel real good about yourself. Maybe she's super attractive, so you feel even better about yourself. And then you sleep with her, you're having a good time, and then she goes back home. Maybe some of you can resonate, some of you who have lived those darker paths. And then she leaves, but then you have this void, then you have this emptiness, then you immediately gotta like play video games or do something else. You couldn't just sit there and chill on a bench. You couldn't, because you have this emptiness now. And in the moment you don't realize, but looking back, every time I did something like that, I had this void, this emptiness in me afterwards. And so you'd be like, oh, I want to see her again, because it was a lot of dopamine, it felt so good. And then maybe you would text her or she would text you, because she's also a dopamine addict, and then you would see one another, and it's always so nice to just have sex and have a good time, and you keep doing that and you get more and more attached. All of a sudden you have expectations, all of a sudden you feel this fleshly bond, and you almost feel like jealous and protective of her, and you feel like it's normal now I gotta pay, now I gotta provide. That biological tendency starts to activate, and so you see her more and more and more, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, we have this bond, we enjoy sleeping with one another, and because of that we also get along quite well, so let's have a relationship. And then for some it failed after 3 months, for others after 2 years. A lot of men get married to these women, and then they have a child, and then after 7 years the marriage breaks apart. Because anything that is subconscious, anything that is hidden, any hidden motives, any hidden tendencies, any hidden aspects of oneself that you're hiding, they will all come up earlier or later. Some people face it, some people run from it. That's why for some people it's over after 3 months, for other people it's going to take them 7 years to get to that point. This destroys your whole life. Like, as a man, this destroys your whole life. The woman you choose is one of the most important decisions you can ever make. So if you are blinded, if you can't think straight because you're sleeping with her, you will not choose the right woman. You will break up. You will have trauma. You will waste years. So before you even think about being with a woman, first get this under control. Or else you will 100% choose the wrong woman. Because a lot of men, they have this. Most men are stupid. They're really stupid once you get to the other side. They think they make a good deal by giving their everything to a woman, by providing for her and giving her everything so they can sleep with her. A woman wants sex just as much as you do. But she knows that you are a man, so you probably have this addiction. So you're probably enslaved to that desire. And so what she realizes is that she's a gatekeeper of your drug habit. And so she knows that the stronger your drug habit, the more she can get out of you before she does with you what she wants to do anyway. It's just something she's learned. She's learned, oh, I have power here. Because she's like your dealer, and you're addicted to her drugs. And that's what a lot of women do. They try to get as much out of men as they possibly can or lead them along because they are the gatekeepers of the drug addiction of the men with the goal of receiving as much as they possibly can from men. And so a lot of men have this idea that they need to provide, and in order for that they get sex. But you both get the sex. Women want sex just as much as men do. Yes, there's a difference. Of course, there's a gigantic difference. But if you get to the other side, you're not affected by it. If you do nothing stupid, you're not affected by it. You're totally calm. You're chill. You're like a woman in that sense, that you have control over your sexual desires. You don't sell out. You don't become a sucker and do whatever she wants to and pay or etc. so you can get some pussy. Because here's the thing. It's not that we're free. I paint this analogy of, it's like I'm in the sea, you know, and I have this little boat, and as long as I'm in this boat, I'm good. I won't fall. I won't be tempted too much. I'll keep riding the waves. I just keep my head down, keep focus on what's right in front of me. But the moment I start to like peek, look at the waves, or put my hand in the water because it's kind of cool, that's when you get swept away. This is kind of what it is, because we're never truly free. But you can get in a state of balance. And in that state of balance, you both want it as equally as much. And so a lot of men, they give up everything just to get sex. But really, even when they have sex, they lose, because she gets your energy. The woman, when she goes home after fornicating with you, when you met her on Tinder, she's all happy. She's listening to music in the bus or in the train or whatever. She feels good. She's energized now. But you have a hole within you. And this is also, once you start to get to that, once you start to focus on your boat, you know, you stop being on the waves, you start to find that state of balance, lasting balance, like over months, where you don't obsess over women or anything, and you're just literally just working, literally just being productive and loving it. You love it. This is where you start to realize how stupid men are and how stupid women must think men are. And they're absolutely right, because we bend over backwards, we do all of that when you could just free yourself from it and stop being a slave to it. Like, of course, women don't respect men anymore because they have the leverage over them. And once you get this under control, women stop having leverage over you. All of a sudden, you look at a woman and you're like, what do you actually have to offer me? All you do is scroll on TikTok, listen to low vibrational music. You're a total slave to everybody else's validation and attention. You have no true confidence. You have a lot of pride, which you mask it with. You have nothing to offer me, like nothing. What do you actually add to my life? Literally nothing but pain, trauma, emotional dumping, and you take away my energy because I'm a slave to sex. This is not all women, but this is most women, because most women are equally as stupid as most men are. And so once you start to like get to the other side, you start to realize we're fucking stupid. We're fucking dumb. 95% of these women literally have nothing to offer you. Nothing. They have nothing going on for themselves. And this is not to shit on women. This is just the reality of people nowadays, men and women alike. And once you start to see that, you start to see how we make such fools of ourselves, trying to impress them and play these games. And women know all along you're playing a game. A woman knows your game better than you know it yourself, because she's had the same game with 30 other men who've tried to seduce her. A woman doesn't even need to be like seduced. Why do you care about seducing her? Something is inverted here. You shouldn't care about seducing a woman, trying to riz her up, or this degenerate language we use nowadays. So you start to realize it's like all a lie. It's all a lie. And this is what men choose their partners with. And then we wonder why families break down, why men aren't men anymore, why our children don't have parents anymore, and they become indoctrinated, etc. And once you're in that state of balance, she wants sex as much as you do. And all of a sudden it's like, well, what do you have to offer me? Nothing? Yeah, you have a nice ass, you have some nice fat storages there and there, cool, so what? Because that's what it actually is. She has some fat cells on a bone. Like, that's the criteria most men choose their wives with. It's absolutely insane. It's insanity. And you don't notice this while you're in chains. You just think that's just how it is because you're stuck in the programming. You're stuck in the code. You can't see. Yeah, it's like you're in the matrix. You can't see. So here's what it's like to live as a celibate, because I promise you, for the last 100 days, I had practically zero urges. I was super focused. I was not texting with any women. I was not calling any women. There were no women in my life. I was chill. I would say good morning when a woman says good morning or whatever. You just interact with people, but no women. I would truly live like a guy in a up the mountains away from society. I really did. And I've talked about some of the things. I'm so much more disciplined. I work, and I love it. That hunger I used to have for ass or vagina or that sexual gratification, I now put that in the gym. I look forward so much to go to the gym, and not just because I want to get muscles or whatever. No, because I love that pain. I love to let go of the energy. Like I'm not big. I barely have 15-inch arms, but I love it, and it's like it's almost orgasmic, but it's a slow, steady orgasm, and you feel that hunger, that you can put that into your work, and it's trust me, it is equally as fulfilling as fornicating or sleeping with women. That's how much you start to enjoy the hard stuff. Because when I'm done with a set, it's not just like, oh, I finished the set now, or I did the reps I had. No, it's like we're going to failure, and now we're going to beyond failure. I just want to feel more. I can handle more pain. I just want to feel pain. You fucking love it, okay? And you look at women and you see the person. You don't see the shell. You see the person. You see everybody. You walk into a room and it's like you're like an overseer because you have so much energy, or you're just in tune on your mission, on your purpose. You read everybody. It's like you see everybody's mental states from above, and you're no longer looking from the outside. You see exactly where they are at. Because here's the thing with awareness and with consciousness, it grows, right? You are corrupted, or in the beginning of life, we're corrupted. So we shed this and we get back to purity or unity, whatever you want to call it. And so you know all those lower states and you immediately recognize them. And then you wonder, why did I ever fear? Why did I ever have social anxiety? I see exactly where they're at. I don't see you from the outside, I see you from the inside. Because I'm not present within myself. I'm an overseer. I know this probably doesn't make sense to a lot of you, but you see everybody's spiritual state of being from a different place. And you can immediately pick up on high vibrational, low vibrational. It takes like 2 seconds. You read people like that. Really, you really, really do. And yeah, much better oxygen in the gym also. Like, if some of you struggle with cardio or whatever, dude, get on celibacy. Your oxygen levels will go through the roof. Your cardio will go through the roof. I can run for forever at a high pace and doesn't do anything. And yeah, obviously, I wrote it down, female attraction. Women get shy around you. A lot of them give you the deer in headlights look, where it's like almost surprised. Like I remember this woman, she was holding the door open for me, and I wasn't, because yeah, she was attractive. I realized looking back, all men bend over backwards and start to behave differently and weird because she's attractive. And I just smiled at her genuinely and said thanks. And she was like, she was like shocked, like she'd never experienced a guy just being normal, being friendly. Like she just realized, oh my God, he saw me. He didn't see this. He saw me and he just spoke to me. What the hell, And yeah, they start to be attracted. They start to look. Maybe they'll come up, ask for your number, etc. These things happen, and they'll stroke your ego. They'll make you feel real good, and they'll come to you. And if you're sitting there listening this, and it's somewhere in the depths of your mind, it's like, ooh, I kind of want that. That's a very problem. That's your problem, because all these videos, etc. of female attraction, it's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. You shouldn't give up about female attraction. Oh, you judge me, oh, you don't like me, whatever. I don't care. That's what you want. Trust me, that's what you want. You want to be able to just do your shit as a man. Work on your purpose, love every minute of it. You love putting in the work, you love suffering, you love doing what's hard. You love that. It's like sex. It's like you're starting to fuck the world in some sense. Because you stop that outlet. Now it's like, okay, the whole world is mine. What do I want from this life? What am I actually here for? You stop playing the video games and doing all the knowledge. It's like, what do we actually want from this life? And you start to attack it, you start to like ravish the world the same way you would ravish a woman, just with full passion and dominance, and and so all of these thoughts, or oh, am I gonna get female attraction? It's all bullshit. It's literally all bullshit. Stay humble. Stay humble. And honestly, don't even be like friends with women or whatever. Like 95 to 99% of women you can't even be friends with. If she wasn't pretty, you probably wouldn't be friends with her. Why would you be friends with a woman if you can be friends with a guy? Like a lot of people will look at this and be like, oh, but this is just your impurity. It's like, no. There's a biological reality and you're just more likely to get along with a guy. Like this whole thing about friendships with women. No, there's a reason women are friends with women and guys are friends with guys. Because we can be our authentic selves. We can actually genuinely open up. You can't open up to a woman like that. But if you do, it turns romantic, right? This is why women and women can be good friends. Men and men can be good friends. But women and men can't be good friends unless they are super, super deep friends. It's like inverted in a sense. Initially there's a shield. But to the degree the shield goes up, the depth goes in as well. There's always duality to everything in the world. I see a shape in my head, but I can't describe it. But you get what I'm saying. It's to the degree there's hostility or fear or uncertainty or whatever it is, to that degree you will have depth as well, which you won't have with same-sex friendships. So that's why friendships, they don't work. And so if you're a guy, just avoid women. Like avoid most of these women. Seriously, just avoid. Don't be friends with them. Don't. No. And you will realize if you free yourself from this, obviously you won't have a desire to go out there and smoke with that pretty girl who pretends like she doesn't know you wanna sleep with her, so she can get more stuff out of you, because you think, oh, this is how the transaction works. If I give her enough, eventually someday she's gonna. No. Listen, they know, like all women know this. Guys don't want to be friends with women. All women know this. They know that men just pretend to want to be their friend because they want to sleep with her. But she pretends like she doesn't know so she can get more out of him. And then she is together with another guy who's her boyfriend. And she even lies to that guy. She tells that boyfriend too, oh, he's just a friend. But she knows. She knows all along. Trust me, women can read you like this. Because we're all suckers. We're all the same. Of course they play with you. Of course they cheat on you. Of course they treat you like garbage. And then men retaliate and they start to resent women. Turn inward. Free yourself. There's a way out. Trust me, I've tasted it now. And I'm going to go right back into it. I 100% believe this relapse was so I can be humiliated and shamed a little bit when I make this video. So there's a little bit more of realness, And one more thing, the dreams. Yeah, that one's really interesting. The dreams go crazy. I mean, at some point, it's really like you're shifting realities. You wake up and you're like, whoa. And I also remember at some point I would visit places I've dreamt about years ago. Almost like these places actually exist, and you return to them, you visit them again. Very, very crazy. And also when you're recalibrating, you will have some sleeping difficulties, some sleeping issues. But this is part of it. Once you're balanced, once you're aligned, you will just naturally find yourself sleeping a little less and waking up a little earlier. And here's one more interesting thing, because a lot of you have experienced this. The dream state is a realm where Satan likes to attack, because you're vulnerable. And what ended up happening is throughout my streaks, it was 10 days ago, day 90. I had a dream with a woman, and she, and I remember rejecting her, and I remember telling her in the dream that I'm on celibacy. I don't care about this. And I woke up and I just thanked Jesus for like 30 times, and I was like, yes, I felt so accomplished and I felt so good about myself. And I've also had it where I had a dream and I gave in. I slept with a woman in my dream, and I felt a little bit of shame and guilt when I woke up, because here's the thing. It's not like you're entirely powerless in your dreams. The dreams expose where you subconsciously are. So for example, if you're subconsciously kind of just, maybe I do get female attraction. Like, what if I do get female? This is going to be exposed in your dreams. And this is also exactly the seed of darkness, which is going to lead you to fornicate with a woman if Satan presents a woman to you. Like, you need to get to a point where the most beautiful of beautiful women can come and let you do to her whatever you want to do to her. and you just say no. Because you know what you want. You know you're not willing to give up your purpose and mission here on earth for some short-term pleasure. Because you gotta see. And so dreams, they reflect that. If you have a lot of wet dreams, if you have a lot of sex dreams, and you maybe even feel the spiritual war while you're in the dream, you feel the two sides waging war. That exposes what's on your subconscious. And that's what you need to work with. You need to take this input and integrate it and realize how you need to figure out where you have hidden motives, hidden desires, because it's all going to come up on this journey. Everything's going to come up. Everything, stored trauma, repressed emotions, hidden desires, it's all going to come up. Even your sexual, they're going to get worse. In the beginning of this journey, they got much worse for me than they are now after this intense fast and this just period of 100 days where I was just so grateful to just work and not give up about women. You know, it was beautiful, and it's going to continue. Like, it's absolutely beautiful to live like that. What else? Oh yeah, I wrote here that this is the birth of manhood. This practice, celibacy, retaining your seed, retaining your life force. All the ancient scriptures, they talk about it. Every ancient script, everything that could even be classified as a belief system or religion in some way or another, they all talk about it. Celibacy, because that's the source. That's your source of power and your source of hunger. And why is it the beginning and birth of manhood? Because you look out into the world and most men nowadays, they're suckers for women. They're still adolescents. When you're a teenager and you're young, what you want to do is you want to impress the girls. You want to sleep with them. And this doesn't change for most men. They're 30, they're 40, they're still doing the same thing. They're still trying to impress them and play the games, but now they have a little bit more money, a little bit more experience, a little bit more confidence. So it's just still all degeneracy. Like, they're still adolescents in the sense that they want the same thing the children want, the teenagers want. They're just able to get it more now. But within, they're the same. They're the same. They're exactly the same. They're still children. Most men are still children. And you will stay a man-child for as long as you don't get this under control. You cannot be a real man if a woman has leverage over you. And I don't mean it's in a derogatory way. I love women. I have nothing against women. But if a woman has leverage over you, what the hell is wrong with you, dude? You're a man. Like, I know this modern world doesn't want to say these things, but you're a fucking man, dude. How is a little itty bitty woman gonna control you? What the hell is wrong with you? 95% of men are like that. And let me tell you, you have a purpose. You have a mission. You didn't come here to find a woman, get a job, make money, have a house, buy a car. This is all bullshit. None of this shit matters. Once you let go of the bullshit, you will find out what you came here to do, and you have a mission. I don't care how old you are. I don't care if you have no fucking clue. Keep following the voice. Keep doing what you need to be doing. And you will figure out sorry for swear, I swear a lot, but what the fuck you came here to do. You know? And for as long as you're in those chains, you won't have the hunger to truly find, to truly seek, to truly embrace the suffering, because on the other end lies what you want. So you need that hunger. You need to feel it. You need to be able to deal with it, to be content with it. And God can use everybody. God can use you before that. And He does. Of course He does. But if you want to truly, if you feel like you have a higher calling and you truly want to step into that higher calling, like I do. I'm on this planet. I don't give a fuck about anything. All I care, literally, and God be my witness, I'm willing to give up my life for that. All I want to do is preach the gospel, preach the truth in Christ, share His love and beauty with the people, and speak out against the wickedness in the world. And I'm willing to die on that mountain. Hey, you gave me a virtuous death. If some genie came right now, okay, no, I wouldn't do that because that genie would be demonic. But if I would die. I would give my life to reach people, to help. That's all I care about. Like, that's my life's mission. I want to help you. I want to help you get to where I'm at. I want to help the people. I want to share the love of Christ. I want to share the truth. I want to speak out against the evil, about all the totalitarianism, all the enslavement that's going to happen to us as people, the inner spiritual. Like, that's literally all I care about. I don't have any friends. I have habits. Like, yeah, I play chess. I go to the gym, etc. But I'm willing to give everything up. I'm even willing to give up this YouTube channel. I'm willing to give everything up if God just uses me. And this is why I have so much purpose. so much meaning. Not a day am I without hope or without faith. I have so much faith and I'm so grateful for it. And I never, depression can't reach me because I'm just working. I know what I want. I know what I'm willing to die for. There's no confusion or nothing. I'm clear, like straight ahead. And if you feel like you have a higher calling, you need to get this under control so that you can then truly follow that call. Imagine a pastor, imagine a preacher, imagine anybody who reaches anybody who still has that little secret in the back of his, it can't be. That's also the last step. That's the hardest part, you know, that's the strongest demon, that's the highest fleshly desire. So every time you indulge, every time you do it with a woman or whatever you do, don't focus on what you're missing out on. Or well, don't focus on that you're missing out on pleasure if you resist, but focus on the fact that you will literally give up your life's mission, your life's purpose every single time you choose to make that decision and indulge. You are giving up your purpose. You're giving up what you actually came here to do. Trust me, when this life is over and you look back, you will not care if you could have maybe slept with one more girl, if you had a little bit more confidence or what. This is all Satan beating you up and playing games with you. But what you will care is not speaking your honest and authentic truth. What you will care about is being too scared to say what you truly believe and to stand up to people and speak what you believe in and to do what you're called to. That's what you're going to regret if you don't do that. You could die tomorrow. I could die tomorrow. Why am I being so real with a camera when there's all these people who are going to watch me and judge me? Because there's a few of you who I'm going to reach. We're all going to die very, very soon. Life is short. Don't be scared. Do what you came here to do. And if you're scared, you lack hunger. The only thing that is between you and you conquering your opponent is the hunger, the willingness. And this is what gives you that willingness. This is what gives you that focus and determination. I'm not even here to talk about women. I don't even want to talk about women. I want to talk about your goals and your mission. You have a mission as a man. Most men, they're stuck, they're asleep, playing video games and doing whatever they're doing. Going on Tinder, just going to their 9 to 5 so they can buy the car to impress the girl and then play the games when they come home and watch the movies and jerk off and eat food. That's all they do. Literally. Most. That's all they do. Yeah, of course they have some habits here and there, but most, especially maybe here in the West, it's more pronounced, or in Switzerland, they're all the same. They're all running on programs on lower level thinking. You need to escape the matrix. You need to stop engaging in these pleasures. You need to actually wake up. You need to actually seek God because He's right here with you. He's right here with us right now. And you need to find Him. You need to find the voice. You need to follow Him. You need to show Him your willingness. You need to surrender to Him so He can use you, so you can do what you came here to do. That's what's going to fulfill you. This YouTube channel, even though I'm a nobody, I'm a fucking nobody. I have like 800 subs. Nobody knows me. But when I receive an email, like, hey dude, what you said really helped me. Like, I promise you, it warms my heart and it gives me so much more satisfaction than any type of drug or whatever. If somebody's like, hey, you helped me with this theological issue, understanding this, or you're helping me in some way, form, or shape, it's like I receive it back times 10. You know, this is something you realize when you grow. All you want to do is help. All I want to do is help, right? I have no agendas. I just want to help you. That's why I'm being real. That's why I don't care about being embarrassing. That's why I don't care. I just want to help. And when I can help, it's like 10 times better than anything else. Because that's what happens when you align with your purpose. Maybe I'm going to have 2,000 subs, I'm going to have 20 people, and then I die. So what? That is infinitely more fulfilling than if I had the whole kingdom of the world. Seriously. Like, you don't know. Seriously. I would be happier. I know it now. I would be happier. This is what you want. Trust me. And yeah. That's all. I wrote a lot of text and I feel like, the video is great. I was very honest, very vulnerable. That's good. That's going to help you, hopefully. And if it did, if you would bless my heart, let me know. There's one more thing though. I will link a book in the description. And usually I'm like, yeah, a book is going to help you quit an addiction. But this book truly changed my perspective on a lot of things. And I really, really, really recommend that if you are a man who is struggling with this, that you go and you read this. It's called The Easy Way to Quit Porn. And this also applies obviously for fornication with women, if that's what you're struggling with. It's the same thing after all. It really changed my perspective on a lot. And what really helped me also is realizing that, and the book also talks, it calls it a monster. You could also call it a demon. It's realizing that we're not harnessing so much energy we can barely contain it because we're so super enlightened and spirit. No, you have an addiction, you have a demon, and you need to starve it. And every time you don't, you start from anew. Just trust me. Read that book. That book is amazing. That book is truly made. There's so many, you might know the book, The Easy Way to Quit Smoking. It's a rewritten form of that book, but the same principles apply. And so many people stopped smoking because of that book. So I was like, fuck it, I'll give it a chance. I read it and I was like, wow, this is the mindset shift. It becomes very simple, very clear. I really recommend it. So yes, that was my story. I went on 100 days of semen retention and then I orgasmed. If you watched it this far, please give me a like. Please type something in the comment section. My last videos haven't been gaining that much traction, so I'm hoping this one is going to be viewed by a lot more people. So maybe this can help a lot of people, because that's the only reason I'm doing this. And it's a little bit embarrassing, but if you want to be brave, you need to be very humble. And I just got humbled hard. But I'm going to go right back, because I love my life right now. I can work. I don't give a shit about women. I want you to have that too. I want you to work. I want you to love the pain, love the suffering, love putting in the work. And then when you reap those genuine fruits, they are so much more sweeter. That's what I want for you. And this is the way. This is the way. And if you're really desperate, do a fast. Pray. It's going to be fucking hard. You're going to be praying every hour. Even rebuke them in the name of Christ. I guess it works. I don't know how. I don't know why that works. But I guess they must obey if you speak the name of Christ. The name of Jesus is too powerful, I guess. I guess I was wrong about that. I thought religious people were closed-minded, but I rebuke every thought I have from now on, and I'm going to go right back at it, Nothing's going to change on my end. I'll continue. I'll make more videos to try to help you. And yeah, this is what you want, dude. You want your purpose. You want to get to that. Trust me, man. Trust me. You want to get to the point where you don't give a fuck about women. You can just work. You can just work and you love it. That's the life, man. That's the life. Trust me. Okay. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching. And God bless you, man. Take what I said to heart. I have no agenda. I just want to help you. Pray and fast. Read the book I sent you. And if you need any help, any questions, ask me. I answer everybody who comments if it feels like it requires an answer. And I've even written like emails with people, like pages long of emails, just going forth and back, because people can feel like I can help them, and I would love to help. Like there's a lot of people, they say like, oh, if you want private coaching, pay me $100. I would never ever do that. If you need coaching, I'm here. I have a Discord in my description. I have comment. If you ever need help, if you need anything, if you feel like I can give you insights, if you feel like I can maybe help you spiritually or whatever, let me know. I'll help you for free. I'll help you hours on end. I'll help you wherever I can. That's all that I care about. That's all I want to do. I just want to help you, dude. I want to help you become a fucking man who works on his purpose, who is aligned with God and gets to his mission. That's what's going to fulfill you.